Hey, all you space cats. Welcome to the Black Hole Podcast, Season 7, Episode 25. I'm Mitch Miller, presidential candidate, the most neutral person in the world, the most transparent candidate on the ballot, and a free market entrepreneur. Just a quick announcement, I am still managing the campground French Creek Farms in Utica, Pennsylvania, and on the 6th of July from 8 to 11 p.m. we are having a band called the Flashbacks. I will be there trying to sell my There's No Can't in American t-shirts. So come and enjoy the band and buy a shirt to support the campaign. So in the last episode we talked about a weapons company, mostly dedicated to dueling. And this company would be transparent from the ground up. Totally transparent company, right? You'll know this every detail of the operations of this company. Totally transparent. And this transparent weapons company would allow me, if I was the head of it, or the creator of it, or the manager of it, I could sit down with every defense contractor, look them in the eye, and tell them they need to become as transparent as possible. Right? No more graft, no more exorbitant prices for military products, and they have to be transparent. And every employee in the supplies chain has to make at least $20 an hour, so that we're not supporting slave labor in the supply chain for the military. Now, we don't have to wait for a weapons company, okay? We can do this today. I am still on the payroll at my friend's embroidery shop, and I thought of this quite a while ago. What if the military contracted with me to produce the name patches for military uniforms, right? We'll stitch out the names on a patch, send them to the military, they apply them to the uniforms. Now, this has an aspect that we would want to keep somewhat hidden, the names of military personnel, but we can label them as a unit. Here's how many. We did 500 units this month. I can publish and be transparent about what everybody in the embroidery shop makes on one of my websites, and what the military's paying me to contract this, and be totally transparent with the contracting of these name patches. And again, then I would be willing and happy to sit down with any defense contractor and show them my website where I'm being as transparent as possible, everything but the actual name, and explore options to make their businesses transparent as possible as well. So those are a couple ideas I have floating around, but for the time being, I will run an underground podcast and keep crossing my fingers that someone comes along that wants to contract with the most transparent person on the planet. Now, as president, and this should be unspoken, this should be implied actually, as president, nations will only receive aid from the United States if they have these guarantees in their Constitution: freedom of press, right to trial by jury, freedom of religion, including freedom from religion, and equal rights for all citizens, right? I don't know if we do currently provide aid to countries that don't have these amendments in their Constitution, but I would phase out that aid until those countries amend their constitution to guarantee these rights to their citizens. And I would also put together aid packages to show other countries what we can provide to them if they do amend their constitution to include these rights, these freedoms, these guarantees. So freedom of press, obviously important here in the United States. I wouldn't be able to do this podcast if we didn't have freedom of press. I believe that good journalism can exist again. It's not really in vogue right now in the United States. But freedom of press is important so that the press can criticize the government, and they should also criticize corporations and the management of corporations. And, if they do it correctly and cautiously, they don't make everyone skeptical of the government, but they have cold hard facts, and they can appeal to the government to improve as a government. So it's very important to have an intelligent government. You need freedom of press. Trial by jury. Right, we enjoyed this right for many years in the United States. I've made arguments in past seasons that we no longer enjoy this right. It was taken away after the Civil War, and the importance was brought about for due process of the law. Every state got to decide what due process was, and that brought forward bench trials in many cases where people no longer were guaranteed trial by jury. Now, my argument for trial by jury is that this was mentioned 3 times in the original Constitution because it's citizen review of the government. And I describe a jury as 12 peers. That's a commonly accepted definition of a jury. And every time someone's arrested for something within a nation, 12 people were meant to take time out of their day to go down to the courthouse and see what the government is arresting people for. So it's citizen review of the government. Now, I believe that if the defendant, the person on trial, is a female, if the person on trial is a female, I believe at least half of this jury of 12 should be female as well. That's a personal ideology that I have, but I believe that that's the fairest way to try women. I think that jury should be half made up of women as well. Freedom of religion, including freedom from religion. The United States has freedom of religion, but we call it separation of church and state. The idea of freedom from religion. I think that government should ratify this into their constitution. They should amend this into their constitution. And I believe that the government, in order to work with the United States to receive our aid, the government must have a percentage of people that identify as non-religious or have no religious affiliation. There should be a percentage in the United States government, as well as governments we offer aid to, of people who are non-religious or not religiously affiliated. These people represent a neutral party. They are not looking out for the interests of one particular organized religion. And I think it's important that there's a percentage of government workers that identify as non-religious or are not affiliated with an organized religion. And lastly, these amendments I believe are important equal rights for all citizens. So if a citizen, I mentioned this on the last one, if a person is born within the borders of the nation, they should be granted citizenship. All citizens, regardless of any type of ideology, should have equal rights to every other citizen, right? So they enjoy all the rights of the Constitution, including these rights that I believe should be amended in any nation's constitution that we offer aid to. We might also look into restricting trade to nations that don't have these amendments and don't have these guarantees in their constitution. But I'm putting that out there, right? It's not going to be sneak around in backroom meetings. This is the policy. If you want to receive aid, if you want to trade freely with the United States, and we could take, hindrances to trade away if the governments ratify these amendments. And so I think it's important to put that out there. And please share this podcast. Check out the websites with a lot of ideas out there. plotm.com, almavoter.com, mitch4mayor.com. That's Mitch the number 4 mayor.com. And trafnet.org. Hopefully I'll see you on the 6th of July up at the campground. And I will try to do an update about the campground, our solar projects. And I'll be waiting for the military to contact me to contract for those name patches or to launch this weapons company, this transparent company that sets the bar for all other defense contractors, so that we are not using taxpayer money for military equipment and it being abused because of insider deals. So, thanks for listening, and until next time, I wish you peace, prosperity, and homeostasis.